I would hope that they would understand they're representing local government and therefore try and keep the cost down as low as possible. But again, it will truly depend on how many localities agree to join in and spread the pain out along to more localities. If there's only a few, then the number can be bigger.
And they're splitting it equally.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman. So my question is, with the $10,000, you talking about split up among?
No, I was saying that might be the upper number for you.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd be fine with us making a motion that is capped to some dollar amount, but I can't blindly commit. While I agree wholeheartedly with the effort, I can't blindly commit us to some unknown figure that could turn into tens of thousands of dollars when the outcome, hopefully the outcome goes the way we want, but with Virginia the way that it is, we're not, we can't predict that.
Well, I agree with Mr. Hips that, you know, it's entirely wrong and it's not fair, it's unfair, and Appomattox County, you know, we'd lose our representation. And it's like, you know, do you want Fairfax County to make all the decisions for Appomattox County, which basically what it amounts to if the proposal goes through? And
Mr. Chairman.
Reverend Jones.
Yes, so I'm opposed to it, but why should the county spend $10,000? I mean, what is the benefit to the county being a part of this Supreme Court? I guess it's appeal, because it's already been declined. They didn't act on it when Lynchburg filed. So
Yes,
that's what I'm trying to understand.
This relates not to the Lynchburg filing at Circuit Court in Lynchburg. This relates to the Tazewell County lawsuit that was filed against the state electoral board and Secretary of State. That has been agreed to be heard by the Virginia Supreme Court. But they are not going to be making a decision on that particular case until after the election takes place. But this would be us adding our name to show support for the position that the redistricting effort that was put in place by the General Assembly, we believe to be unconstitutional. That's what it amounts to.
Mr. Chairman, so this is an amicus that we're submitting, so a friend of the court.
A friend of the court, yes.
Right. And is there any discussion over who has final drafting or approval authority, or how that power is shared once the attorney drafts whatever they come up with?
Well, I've been involved in these types of things before, and what usually happens is every locality's attorney has an opportunity to review and comment and make suggested changes if necessary. So everybody will get a chance to see it before it gets filed and make some recommended suggested changes.
So, Mr. Chairman.
Reverend Jones.
Yep. So my question is, if it's unconstitutional, will our $10,000 make any difference as to whether it's constitutionally legitimate?
To be quite frank, no.
Okay.
If you agreed if you don't agree to sign on as an amicus, it's not going to change the fact that the case is still in front of the Virginia Supreme Court and they're still going to be deciding on this appeal one way or the other. It just adds an additional locality's support and to show opposition to the redistricting effort.
So basically the $10,000 is to show our opposition.
Yes.
To something that may or may not be deemed.
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, so this would be submitted basically as an outside letter to the court about the pending case because we don't necessarily have, we may have standing, but we don't have an active case to which we have filed. So we're just submitting it as an outsider. I think we could save $10,000 of the people's money, and we could draft a resolution saying that we support it and that we as supervisors believe that it is not in the interest of our county for Democrats to be able to redistrict Virginia without having to spend $10,000 to support an amicus that we aren't directly drafting.
It could be just a couple thousand. It depends on how many communities get involved.
I mean, I think you're probably going to see a lot of Southwest Virginia agree to participate.
The one thing that's important to note here, we're going to lose our delegate if this goes through. We're not going to have a 5th district delegate. And our delegate will be, like Chairman Hinkle said, will be from Fairfax or something.
Well, Mr. Chair, what I'm struggling with is,
The money.
no, not so much the money, but our $10,000 in taxpayer money will not determine whether this is constitutional. You think it may? Yeah, that's what I'm having an issue with. If it is either unconstitutional or it isn't. And I think I agree with Mr. Simpson about we could have a letter of support, make a resolution, but it's hard for me to get there and say we're going to pay $10,000 for something that, may be legal that they're doing or illegal.
Well, $10,000 is just a figure that the attorney gave us that represents a possible maximum, because the more governmental entities that sign on to this brief, the cost is spread over more. It could be as low as $1,000 that we spend. We just don't know. So, and the more governments that join on this brief, the more our opposition is given weight to the court, right? Or our opposition has more weight with the court, so to speak.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it gives more weight to the court, but it does show to the court that there is significant concern about how this process was done, how we got to where we are today, and the vast interest that localities such as ours would have in such a, what we believe to be unconstitutional process. Obviously, the more localities that sign on for the amicus, the better in terms of it reduces cost, number one. But number two, it does show stronger support for a position. But I think, as was stated earlier, at the end of the day, it's going to be considered constitutional or unconstitutional whether we participate or not. So if you're not comfortable in agreeing to a cost share, then don't participate, and I'll just advise the city attorney that that's what our decision was.
Mr. Chairman, I think this may sound rhetorical, but it is an apt comparison in my book, is that James Madison and Thomas Jefferson weren't getting senior law partner hourly pay rates when they wrote their respective documents. And this is something that's being directly engaged. Some group has engaged a law firm to prepare it, and this would be a law firm's invoice, right? That would be split. I just don't think that's how governance should work. We can all, if we want to write something ourselves, that's fine, and I'd rather see us give $10,000 to the Appomattox Food Bank than to an attorney.
We're going to need it.
Well, if there's no motion to be made, I guess Mr. Chairman. Mr. Hips.
I think the idea here is that someone else made, so it sounds like we all agree that this is wrong. So someone else made the effort and took on the expense to go to court to file this. And so us supporting it, to me, is the same as, you know, if we're in the similar issue and we go to other localities and say, well, you guys also support us because you also disagree with it too. And so on that alone, since all of us just think that it's wrong, and they took the necessary steps to dispute it, then I'm supporting them. So I'll make a motion that we join into this.
All right, Mr. Hips has made the motion to sign on to the amicus brief, and Mr. Wolfskill has seconded that motion. Is there any further discussion?
And that is just for the record, we are, by that motion, if it passes, we would be committing to a equal split cost of whatever invoice is submitted by the law firm that drafts the amicus. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Reverend Jones?
Yes, so I want to clarify, excuse me, what Mr. Simpson said. So what we're saying is we're just going to say whatever this law firm, whatever they draft as of how much this is going to cost, that we're willing to pay whatever.
That you're willing to pay your fair share based on the total number of localities that sign on. So whatever that total number is would be divided by the total number of localities.
So I just wonder how the price is affected by the law firm looking at how many counties are signing on. Does our expense go up?
It should not. A law firm is a law firm. They bill at a certain hourly rate, and it should not change because of number of localities.
Problematic for me.
All righty, I guess we'll call for the vote. Mr. Simpson?
No.
Reverend Jones?
No.
Mr. Wolfskill? Mr. Hips?
Aye.
I vote aye also. I know my consistents are deadly against this. We need to have our voice heard.
Mr. Chairman?
Reverend, or Mr. Wolfskill?
It's okay, call me Reverend, I like.
Reverend Wolfskill?
Just a little, we've already voted, but just a little supporting conversation. My wife sitting out here is the chairman of the Appomattox Republican Committee. Countless hours working on this. Hundreds of phone calls, people saying, please stop this. This is something we can do. This is a constituent benefit. This is a constituent benefit. Appomattox County, by the records of primary voting, since we don't register as voters, Appomattox County is 70% Republican. So 70% of the people would be cheated if we don't support this. It's very important.
Mr. Chairman, can I
Reverend
follow
Jones.
up with that? I still think it's problematic. We are not going to determine whether something is constitutional or not. So that is a point that I'm making. I am against the redistricting, whether it's Democrats doing it or Republicans doing it. But I understand, we agree to disagree. The motion's passed.
All right, Mr. O'Rourke, do you have an administrative report?
I do not, but I am sure Ms. Adams will get you your normal report in the next couple of days when she gets back in office.
All righty. Next up is supervisor concerns. Mr. Simpson?
Sorry, was that me?
Supervisor concerns?
Yeah, I just had one. Over the, transfer of the water line between the town, or from the county to the town, and knowing that we are approaching different limits in our water and sewer system and other public infrastructure that, we may not have direct agreements on, but we're certainly affected by the decisions of the town. And being that the town and the county haven't had a joint meeting in, I think, a decade at this point. The last one was 2017, so right at a decade. This is something I'd like to put on a future agenda. We don't have to decide it tonight, but I would love for us to propose 2 members and request the town propose 2 members, and we just form a working group on some of those issues so that if there are questions, the county can ask questions, the town could ask questions, and we just have a forum for discussion, because right now, getting both boards and council together has been an effort I've been trying to do for 5 years, and I think because of various timing issues and things and trying to get 10-plus people aligned in terms of schedules is always very difficult. But that would just be something that I'd like to see us discuss the possibility of, is creating a committee.
Okay. Reverend Jones?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I was notified today that the Dallas Center here in Appomattox is going away. The UVA Center here is going to close. A lot of the citizens who receive services there are extremely upset. They found out this last week, and they're leaving on April the 18th. So they gave them, maybe about 4 weeks' notice. They said they could either go to Lynchburg, Farmville, or Amherst County to receive services. And from what I understand, the constituent that contacted me, very upset, had a conversation with one of the nurses, and they were saying that the Culpeper numbers and the Appomattox numbers were not where they needed to be. In other words, with not enough, that financially, they're making a business decision. But I would like to have the board to maybe consider contacting the powers that be with a letter of our concerns about the citizens not having those services. People are devastated. How am I going to get there? I used to be able to drive myself, but now I've deteriorated to such an extent that I can't drive myself. Somebody has to drive me. And so, and I think the whole timing of it, is very upsetting to have 4 weeks, and these people, they depend on it to live. Thank you.
Mr. Hips?
Just to tack on to what Mr. Jones said, being in community-based services for a long time, that's sad. The ones that rely on Medicaid and for that type of thing have to wait a long time for their transportation to show up. Or the schedule may be that for whatever reason, the transportation's got other people, they might have to pick them up 4 hours early. I have people who actually left at dialysis in Lynchburg, never came back. It's midnight. Can you come get me? Called me. Can you come get me? So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I had no idea, and that's definitely sad. Absolutely, I'd support that. I don't know what contribution we could make, but still, we should at least voice our concern there. As far as the Valley Link thing is concerned, I've had numerous constituents contact me on that, and they bring up valid points, and I would certainly support them in a resolution. I think the folks here tonight with the pictures did a great job of showing exactly what's going to be lost by some folks in that, and it's sad and it's unfortunate, and I would absolutely support them. That's it for me.
Mr. Wilskill, concerns? Okay, I'm with Mr. Hips, and like was brought up, we received, and Johnny passed out to you, a resolution that Louisa County did, and Orange County and another county has, and I would propose adding it to the April agenda, this resolution, or a similar resolution drafted by our staff, opposed to the Valley Link.
That would be unanimous consent, right? You have no opposition?
Pardon?
Would that require unanimous consent?
No, because all I'm proposing is we add it to April agenda. We're not taking any action on it. It's just something that
Yeah, Well, I'm supportive.
Yeah, so. All righty. Now we're down to, Mr. Attorney, do you read this motion, or I read it?
You can read it, sir.
Okay. I move the board enter into closed session for limited purpose of consultation with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice related to possible transfer of water, sewer, utilities to the town of Appomattox pursuant to section 2.2-3711, parentheses A, parentheses 8 of the Code of Virginia 1950 as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Reverend Jones is seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, let's move to the closed room. Robert.